Hi, I'm Cheryl.
And hi, I'm Christine, and this is Made Up Podcast.
Today we have with us the lovely Mark Murdoch.
Hello.
Mark is a TV producer, so Mark has worked on Vikings Valhalla, Pachenko, and Talamasca, and most recently...
A show called Mercenary, which is a spin-off of Extraction, the Netflix movies with Christopher Hemsworth. So we've done a TV version of that, not with Christopher Hemsworth, with Omar Sy in the same world. So we just finished that shooting in Ireland and Morocco.
Morocco, oh, wow. Is that nice?
Parts of it were nice. Casablanca, not so nice.
Right, okay.
A really hard city to film in, really busy, really crazy. And then we went out into the desert, and that was fabulous and amazing, and through the Atlas Mountains and beautiful landscapes. And it was like a huge stunt show, blowing lots of stuff up. I mean, it was very different for me. I'd never done a show with that much stunts in it before. We had like a full-time stunt department of like 40 or 50. The guys that did all the John Wick movies were on the John Wick movies. So it was a completely different world to what I had ever worked with. So yeah, it was amazing. Great show. It's going to be great. It's on Netflix.
That sounds really good. But on the subject of stunts, on your IMDb, it says that you worked as stunts on Napoleon Dynamite.
I don't know how that happened. I wish, I so wish I'd worked on Napoleon Dynamite, even as a stunt performer. And I don't know, it's not true.
I saw Napoleon Dynamite and I was like, I don't.
Do you know how difficult it is? Like, I've emailed them like a number of times and said, I didn't do that, that isn't me. And I get zero response. But if you email them and go, oh, by the way, I did do this job, not that I'm constantly doing that, they change it within like 24 hours. So it's really...
I've got a weird acting one on mine.
What's yours?
It's like a short film I done like years and years and years ago, like, and I've got a weird acting one on mine.
But you weren't in it? You didn't do...
No,
you weren't a weird actor?
No. But on my IMDb...
They've given it to you?
Yeah, I've got an actor credit.
I mean, it's kind of an amazing resource, and I use it all the time, but it's also... But me being on Napoleon Dynamite... sort of shows you how inaccurate it can be.
You could have said anything there. You're
I know.
Like, yeah, I done it.
I know. I wish I had. I think there's a friend of mine when IMDb was like in its infancy. I had a friend of mine who's really loved that movie and was always talking about it. And I think he added it. And he won't. And he's never confessed.
He's just like, you can't put him out there for it.
Yeah. And his name's John McClarvey. He's a documentary director.
What was his name?
John McClarvey.
Right.
And I still blame him. Yeah, he's denied it for the last 10, 15 years. But.
Brilliant. So when you were out in Morocco, did you use crew out there, or was everyone flown out?
So you know what? It was one of the most international crews I've ever worked with. We tallied it up one day, and I think there was 46
Amazing.
different nationalities.
Wow.
So there's a lot of Americans, there's a lot from Ireland, because the first half of the shoot was in Ireland, but with Italian set deck team, we had a Spanish designer, we had makeup and costume people from all over the world. It was our Canadians, and then we had a kind of, the Morocco crew was then also made up of fairly international. A lot of Moroccan crew are actually French. So we had this like real mix of people. It was great. It was really fabulous actually having that. I'd loved every job I want to do now. It's like, people hate this, but like I'm doing a job in Ireland and I'm doing a job in Scotland. And actually, it's great now to be in a position you go, I love working with that person, I love working with that person, and you pull them all together and you know that these people are going to work together really well. So that was, was a great opportunity. Yeah.
Must be a big thing as a producer to get people that work well together. I think that's kind of what makes a job nice, isn't it? If you can get crews that all work well and like all get on, and it must make your job a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, like, the crews everywhere are fabulous, right? That's the thing. Like the crews, when I used to work in Scotland, I don't not work in Scotland, but I haven't worked in the last few years, but like the crews in Scotland are fabulous. And they're very similar to the crews in Ireland, but they're also kind of really similar to the crews in Morocco. Everyone's got, like, they're really, like, they're creative and they want to do a good job and they work hard because you have to in the hours that we do and everything. But I think what's really good for me is when you get sort of creative heads of department and you pull them together and you can see them spark off each other. That's when I feel like I've done a really good job. But what I also really love is when you've got, say, like a less creative heads of department, like talking to, I love hearing, I don't know, a gaffer talk to a costume designer about how the light's going to affect the costume, or is that going to like it in any other line of work? Those people wouldn't be chatting,
even
right?
and each other's radar.
And so it's this opportunity for these different people from different backgrounds to work together and meet, and so if you do that internationally, it just adds to it all the time, you know.
Is there a language barrier then with different departments? Or?
I mean, everyone just always defaults back to English,
Oh,
which is so
okay.
lazy and so bad. But it is the
I
truth.
guess if there's different people from so many different places, it's like
yeah. And I always feel bad. My languages are terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm
the same.
Yeah.
Same.
And you're just like, I should really make more of an effort.
I always had that thing where I was like, I think I actually spoke about this on Vaccines, where I was like, I really wanted to work abroad. But then I actually thought of the realities of, like, I was like, oh, I really like wish I'd worked before I had the kids and things, wish I'd done more abroad. But so I was like the heat and the amount that comes with the job with hair and makeup, working over there in the heat.
Yeah.
But then also like the language barrier and things with crew. Like, my languages are terrible. But I guess that is a lot of people just speak English.
Everyone speaks.
How does it work? Do you know how obviously like in Scotland we have a set day of hours, and then in Italy they'll have another set day of hours? How do you work that with the crew?
So actually that was a real shock when I worked in Canada actually, but so Ireland's very similar to here, and it's always quite difficult convincing like Americans to do our hours, right? Because they're used to doing the Freaky Fridays and all the rest of it. So we tend to adopt kind of where the production. So more often than not, Ireland. So we went to Ireland. We then adopted those hours in Morocco, but then it was a real shock to me when I did Pachenko, which shot in Canada, and the hours there are insane. Like I know we do work really hard and we do really long days, right? Getting in at 6 and leaving at 7 once you've put that wig in the oven and all the rest of it. I know.
Be here for another 3 hours.
But the culture was just really shocking. Like, I always kind of wanted to try working in North America. I wanted to see what it was like. Like I grew up as a kid wanting to work in America, and I got to work in Canada, so not quite America. They were just shot. And I was like, and also but the crew that we had, it was a lot of Guillermo del Toro's crew. So I think used to work in the features. So you can kind of do those hours for for a shorter period, but we were shooting for 8 months, 9 months.
My God. And what were the hours? How many?
We were there was days that we were starting at 7 or 8 in the morning and wrapping at midnight.
Oh my God.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And they just pay
And we were also, and they just pay, but also
on a regular basis, like on a weekly basis.
on a regular basis, and it would get worse as the week went on.
That's
and there was,
wild.
but I think, and I don't want to talk out of turn or not be, but I think also because everyone's paid an hourly there, everyone's deal's done hourly. That actually people are used to doing the overtime, and they kind of won the overtime. So when I try to implement and go, let's try and rein this in, and we'll look at how we extend the schedule, and we'll do all this, and
they're all raging.
They don't want to. But that must be difficult because I think it is that half the people, because I know a lot of people who would happily take the hours and they'll be like, yeah, it's overtime, think of the money.
Yeah.
And then some people are also like, do you know what? We earn a decent wage as it is. We actually would rather do less hours, and because I guess from a safety point of view, so that's obviously a hard thing to deal with.
The safety thing was hard. It was in Canada, we were shooting in the winter, so there's snow. We had to abandon filming in a studio because of snow, because the snow went from nothing to 2 feet in an hour or two. But I think it's got better the last few years. In terms of people seem to and certainly in Ireland, everyone seems to really like doing the continuous days.
Yeah,
I love a continuous days.
Same.
Yeah,
it's quite standard here now, isn't it? Is that the same with the jobs? Obviously.
Yeah. And I think it's convincing Americans that it works. And I just did a show with an American director called John Lee Hancock and DOP called John Schwartzman. John Schwartzman shot one at Jurassic Park and one of the Jurassic Parks and Armageddon and all these huge movies, right? And so when he came to do this TV show, we were a bit he's never going to get it. And then he just loved it. He just adopted it. He'd worked in the UK before, but hadn't done these TV hours before.
Yeah.
And these guys were like, this is brilliant. We need to do this at home. It was just the continuous days, finish after whatever it is. Was it 10 hours? I can't even think.
9 on a continuous.
9 on a continuous, yeah.
And what show was this on?
think of Talamasca.
Oh, was this Talamasca? Okay.
So that's Annie Rice.
Anne Rice.
Yeah, Anne Rice.
Anne Rice. Yeah.
How do you deal with because obviously she's got such a big cult following of her books. Did you feel like quite a lot of pressure to stick to?
So that was an unusual one because I think it was the first show that those guys had done, which wasn't actually an adaptation of one of our books. So the Talamasca is this organisation that appears in a lot of her books.
Right. Okay.
So then they kind of took that idea and created this new TV series out of it.
But did you feel pressure with her books, like for the fans to kind of keep
definitely. Yeah, and the guys who produced it, so there was 2 executive producers, Mark Johnson and Tom Williams, and Mark's amazing. He's like in his 70s. You would think he was in his 10 years, 15 years younger. He produced all these amazing movies like Good Morning Vietnam and what's the one with Tom Cruise and he's a brother of Dustin Hoffman.
I have no idea.
I'm terrible with all
what's
films.
it called? Rain Man.
Rain Man.
I didn't know that.
idea.
And the last few years they've been doing. They bought the Anne Rice catalog, and they've got the rights, and they're developing all these different shows.
Wow.
So they Interview the Vampire. Those did Mayfair Witches, which I did in Ireland, and then this Talamasca show. And I think they've got to feel a huge amount of responsibility to the fans and to the novels, and and that sort of that comes from them, like that infectious from them, and you want to do. But it's that kind of thing, right? You want to do make it the absolute best it possibly can be.
Yeah, of course.
Which is great. But also, it was kind of interesting. We were having to talk to, and we were sitting up with our design, costume, makeup, VFX, and everything, and talking to the interview with the vampire people, which was a completely different crew, and like how they did things, and there's a thing in Interview with the Vampire where like the world just stays still,
right,
and they all act around it, and
I remember seeing that.
Like, and we were, and the VFX guy was like, I don't know, how'd you do that? It must be really expensive, blah 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 blah. And they were like, no, everyone just sits really still. We were like, what?
That's actually how they done it.
And so if somebody's got like a cup of coffee in their hand, they put a little stand so they can hold their
arm on it.
And then they get rid of that with CGI. But everything else is just people like,
that's
like,
that's
it's
really
like
cool
so
that
basic.
they actually do that. It's so basic. And
Yeah.
you think a lot of the time these days, I guess it is like CGI,
it
VFX
takes
for
over.
everything.
What was the film recently that you was like no CGI in? It was a big thing. Oh God, right, maybe one I can't remember.
The Odyssey, was it the Odyssey?
Was it the Odyssey?
What, what's it?
Oh yeah, and he done all with it.
He tried, apparently does is minimal CGI.
Yeah. So all of the fight scenes and all that were all done.
I like that. I feel like that's.
I think
nice to see a
increasingly
move.
people want to do stuff in camera.
Yeah, it's nice to see a move
In fact, you guys would have loved Talamasca because the makeup designer is a guy called Howard Berger, who's an American who does prosthetics, and he runs the I think it's the Oscars talent, what do you call it, the craft.
Craft awards,
and the museum and all the rest of it. And him and his partner started a company, and they designed like zombies and did what's that thing, The Walking Dead and all that stuff. Like these amazing, like he was just incredible to work with him. He was just like, yeah.
I follow him on Instagram. He's amazing.
Yeah, we follow him. Our podcast follow him. So
good.
we'll get him. What you do is
get
get
Howard to follow
you
you.
next.
Yeah, he's a lovely man as well, and his team. We shot that in Manchester, and his team. He's the big guy with the big beard and all that, and he's just this like full, like larger than life kind of character, and his department, which were mostly women.
Yeah,
we'd come in all with wearing like matching beards. And Howard Berger Day, and they just come dressed as him. It was really sweet.
I love that. That sounds like a fun team.
Yeah.
I like that. What's on the note of like CGI and things? What's your thoughts on like AI and how that's going to go in the future for
us,
TV and film?
I don't know. It does feel really lazy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Just feels like.
I mean, do you guys use it like just daily? If you're writing an email, do you use it?
I try not to because I don't agree with it.
Bad for the environment, no?
Yeah,
it is.
I heard
bad for the
that it's
environment.
every time you ask ChatGPT a question, you're using 2 bottles of water every time.
I'm not even sure. It might be more than that. I have no idea. But it's incredibly bad for the environment. But it's also, it's not. It's here now, right? It's not gonna, so I guess we have to adopt it.
Yeah, of course.
And you kind of like, our industry, because everything's so hands-on and you think that we're kind of probably safe from it. I kind of assume we were.
I think for creatives there is that thing where it's not creative.
But then you realise that, like, I remember watching something like 2 or 3 years ago where, like, I think the advertising industry's just collapsed, right?
Yeah.
Because now they can just, like, why
Everything.
get a crew together when you can just... And I think with drama, hopefully, we can hold it off for longer. But I know, like, in China, they're making whole movies and stuff. Yeah. But I think people still want... You can tell, right? People want reality.
Well, I worked on a Warner Brothers thing, and during filming, they took each individual actor into this, like, it was a van that came on the day, and there was just, like, thousands of cameras in this van. And basically the actor that I was working with was like, I had to sign over my likeness for this film.
Oh, really?
So the van came and he was dressed and he was in all his gear and had to stand and walk about in this van, and they took, like, every inch of him.
We did that on Mercenary. But there's a lot of CGI in that show because the nature of it. And so it wasn't from an AI perspective, but it's more like, it was more to get the likeness correct if you're drawing somebody, like...
Well, like an old school VFX type.
Yeah, from VFX.
School,
but I don't understand why actors...
he was quite nervous about doing it.
Yeah.
Because he's basically signing over his likeness to a company that makes film.
Yeah.
And could they use it in the future? Probably, because he signed it over.
Yeah.
Like,
and the writing, I think the writing, it's a concern for... And it's lovely, to work in these new and original things, right? It's always really fun to work on something where you read the script and you love it and you're like, you feel like, I don't know, motivated by it.
Yeah.
And it's the idea that scripts could just become generic, even more generic, is kind of worrying, right? But
do you think, I feel like there's always going to be mistakes, so isn't there? I feel like no matter what, when it comes to AI, no matter how much it is, like, it can be a great thing to help with those type things, like script writing. I feel like there's never going to be that personal touch to it. There's never going to be, well, maybe there will be one day, because
I think it's just to be a tool like anything else, right?
Yeah,
when it helps, right? They don't, right? Like, it's like I do use it. I mean, despite the bottles of water that I'm wasting, like
killing the planet.
But you do go, oh,
we've all used it at some point.
That awkward email.
How do I write that? But I think from a makeup point of view, like, I've already seen some, like, hair. I actually I had a thing before all the AI stuff came out. I was going to invent an app. Was that the right word? I was going to invent an app. I was going to make an app for... do you remember that when I'd, like, properly planned it out? It was like, I was going to have an app where you would upload your picture of your cast. So, for example, when I'm going for an interview with producers, directors, I would already have the cast. If they had the cast already, would have the cast picture uploaded, and whatever that, like,
so you do like a live mood board sort of thing.
Mood board, but it would be like a live mood board. So it would be their picture uploaded, and then you can change, like, add tattoos or change their hair and all this type of thing. And I had it all planned out, and I'm actually glad I never did it, because then within 2 years of actually that was maybe like 7 years ago I first thought about doing that, but within a few years it was like, actually now you can do that at like the drop of a hat. It's funny that, like, the
costume designer on the last show had a sketch artist that did that drew the and they were beautiful. And I appreciate they're probably, I mean, we spent so much money on them, but they were really lovely things to look at. And it was something that kind of inspired a conversation between the showrunner and the directors. And whereas I think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sure if you went, look, take this drawing and AI it, that's the word, then it would have managed. But there's just something about the fact that these were thought through, and it was like, our costume designer had described it, and then this person had taken those words and made it and brought it to life, and they're beautiful things. And I think these are, that's kind of stuff, like, I think,
and that comes across on screen, and the designs is like, you can tell it's like the personal touches behind it. I think from a makeup point of view, I think that, so that's what I was going to say, sorry, there was it was like wigs, like big period wigs, but the AI versions of those is like insane. But you also look at them and you're like, people can't achieve that. Like, that's, I mean, people can achieve amazing things, but it's almost unrealistic how perfect it is. It's that thing of AI. It's like there's not.
Yeah.
I think it's not believable, and I think I would like to think that's what will save our jobs one day.
I think it will. It hasn't. From my perspective, it hasn't been a huge thing yet.
Yeah.
No. So Mark, how did you become a producer? You came through the AD sort of route.
Did. Yeah, I was a second for a long time.
Okay. That was in Scotland?
Mostly in Scotland. I did the first series of Death in Paradise, the Caribbean.
Right, okay.
I did a couple of jobs down in England. What else did I do? Yeah. But mostly in Scotland. Mm-hmm. I did quite a bit of Taggart. Mm-hmm. And I realised I'd been seconded too long when to wind up the third AD, we had like one of our big extra days. Big extra days in Taggart's like 70, right? It's not like 700. Right, okay. And I booked 35 guys called John and 35 women called Mary. just to wind up the third AD. And I was like, it's like, we were phoning, that's when the second AD used to book the extras, right? Yeah. Like, and so we were phoning agencies and going, I don't care who the was.
Just give me the names.
People called John. And then I did another day where I got them all people had like famous people's names and then put all their names in the call sheet. Like, and all the agencies were like, we've got like a Marvin Monroe. Like, yeah, dude, bring him in. Like that kind of stuff. But at that point, I was like, I can't be doing this more.
I'm bored. I'm too bored.
I'm bored now. And then so I tried firsting for a bit, and do you know what? I was quite a good second. I don't mind saying I was quite a good second because I was a dreadful first. Like I just was not suited to it at all.
How long were you seconding though? Probably been
seconding quite a long time. Probably about 8. I would say 8 years, probably maybe more.
So you're off the floor.
Yeah, and started as a runner, started in production office as a runner, then floor runner, then third AD, and second. And I always kind of, when I started in the industry, I kind of looked at the second, thought that's the kind of, that felt like a really big, responsible job, and it felt realistic, rather than going, I want to be a director, which is nothing wrong with saying I want to be a director, but at the time, wee boy from Aberdeen, working in the film industry even seemed unlikely.
It's the kind of job that you're not.
Yeah, like I know. Yeah, it was like saying you want to be a professional footballer, right? Like you had no idea that films were made in the UK or in Scotland.
Yeah.
And then, so anyway, I'm sure this is really long-winded. How did I get a job?
Like, carry on. We love it.
And then I was firsted for a little bit, and then I wasn't really enjoying it, and then I went back and seconded a movie called Under the Skin, which was shot in Scotland with Scarlett Johansson, which was a completely amazing experience, right? Just the way they shot it was like nothing else like had ever been. It was like all hidden cameras and so we did this thing with like shot. Now you normally shoot in a nightclub and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. There's like 70 extras and they're dancing to no music. But we shot in the shed live on a Friday night.
And
pumped
in the south side?
In the south side.
Brilliant.
Pumped the music up, put a drinks promotion on, and then filmed secretly. And then it got out in the press that day that Scarlett was going to be there. Well, she was in a wig, so she wasn't instantly recognisable. So it was like, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to have to cancel it. And then myself and the director, and we came up with this plan. It was like, well, let's get like a daft big like news camera with a big light on it and put that over there. So there was like all these people mugging at the camera. And then we were just secretly filming over there. But so every day was like that. We filmed in John Lewis. We filmed in all these different like great, like, you know, without the public knowing. And it was such a thrill. It kind of reignited my kind of passion for what I get in the industry for. And it was and I just loved it. And then they came back to do some pickups and reshoots, and I got to production manage them. And that was kind of the start of moving out in that world. So I production managed them. I production managed some little bit like reshoots for movies and stuff. And then I got my first proper gig as a line producer on season 2 of Shetland, which was a bit of a baptism of fire, but also very enjoyable. And that's kind of, and then from a line producer, I did that line producer for a few shows in the UK. And then I did a show for the Americans for MGM called 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which was a TV version of the American adaptation of the film. And there wasn't a producer on that, and I was the line producer, and then halfway through I was just like, can I be the producer on this? They said yes, and that was it.
Excellent.
So credits the producer and line producer was kind of
Promote yourself.
Yeah. Because that was kind of, I was kind of like, I think that kind of American version is you kind of do bridge that. Like I work increasingly with showrunners and just and kind of help them realize what they want. And but at the same time, we're still very much in the kind of budgetary and that kind of camp as well. But that's how I got there. And but what I realised, I just always get sort of not bored, and I just start acting up and being foolish and doing stupid things, and then I go, like, I need to move on.
What do you do as a producer? Have you hired all the...
So in Talamasca, right? So in Talamasca, we had these characters called revenants, which are like sort of like vampire zombie things.
Yeah.
And the director was like, I don't know what they are, but I think maybe we should get a choreographer to help with movement and stuff. He was like, I want them to be like, they move as one, like a flock of birds, but they're also scary. Like, it was like, so he said, what I don't want them to be is like Michael Jackson's Thriller, right?
Yeah.
And the directors would come in and and the revenants appeared in almost all the episodes. So every director said the same thing. I don't know what they are. This can't be Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah.
So I spoke to the choreographer and I was like, why don't we just secretly teach everyone the Thriller dance and we'll just do it one night in front of camera?
You get them exactly what they didn't want.
Yeah. One night we had all the revenants out in the full makeup and the full costume, and half the costume department in makeup, and half the actors because we're shooting in Manchester City Centre. Like they were like, oh yeah, no, we just sort of trot by and sort of thing, and then the sound department put in the music, so we just did, the Thriller dance, and we were right up against it, and we were going to go over all this. But it was like, hey! Like. It's just like stuff like that.
Did you just get it on?
I just
get it recorded.
Like yeah.
Oh my god, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I love it. I just stuff like that. I can't. Help.
I think that's the part of this podcast is kind of showing the fun side of like film production.
But I'm just up to tomfoolery all the time.
So wigs on and makeup.
Wigs on. honestly, I'm like yeah. Also, I find that unit-based world like is my natural home because I was a second for so long.
Yeah, it's where you're used to.
Like I kind of gravitate towards costume and makeup and
that's always the place where everyone gravitates towards the makeup.
Yeah.
The
Well, in Ireland, it's costume, makeup, and hair.
Yeah.
Like it's always separate.
Is London the same, or is it more America? I think London. It depends the job.
I think it's period. It's London, but in Ireland, it's by like the union insist on it.
It has to be separate.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
What would you say your favourite job is you've done?
That's hard. That's hard because they're all tough. Like they're all tough. I had like that, and they're all very different experiences. Like the last job was an incredible learning experience because like the stunts. Like we'd have these stunt teams and they would rehearse for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and they would video the rehearsals, and then they would make little movies out of them with sound effects and music and everything. It was like a different world, and it was like real learning curve for me.
Yeah.
But the Pachenko, which was set in Korea or set in Japan, but a Korean family, we had English, Korean, so we had trilingual translators, right? So we had because it's a beautiful show. If you ever get the chance, it's on Apple. You should absolutely watch it. It's so beautiful. And but you got like people who can speak foreign languages and they trip in and out of different languages.
Yeah.
So the way Sue, who's a writer, who's the showrunner, writes it, she writes it like that. So we have Japanese actors who speak Korean mid-sentence and Korean actors that speak Japanese mid-sentence.
Okay.
And some of the crew HODs were Korean. We had a Japanese director. So we had this who couldn't speak English or Korean. And then, so we have these, so every conversation was trilingual, or not every conversation, a lot of conversations. So we had this whole translating department, which I never had before, right? Which was like 10 or 15 people whose job, who each department had their own, and there was one the cast had their own ones, the directors had their own one. So the scripts, so things like this, if there's a script change, we're so used to, Pink Pages coming out and it's like, we're doing this tomorrow, we're doing this in 20 minutes. The scripts had to be translated into Korean and Japanese and then back translated into English to make sure that the nuances were still there. that could take weeks. So that was also interesting because it was like, it meant the schedule and everything, like every job, right? You'd have problems, like it would snow and we couldn't shoot. And you're like, okay, we can shoot that. That set's available. Like
You couldn't
they
bring
couldn't
stuff
because the
over.
cast hadn't learned the script phonetically.
Yeah.
And a lot of that had to be learned phonetically. And it was,
Of course.
but the most fun thing I've ever done, it's got the best title sequence of any show you've ever seen. I promise. It's just the season 1. It's 3 generations over 3 periods.
Okay.
So the season I did was 1930s, 1940s, and 1980s.
Okay.
And so a lot of the cast are never together. The titles are them together dancing, and it's the most joyous thing you'll ever watch.
Oh.
And we shot that between, like, basically we didn't have any time in the schedule to do it, so we just set up this like little mini unit. And we just shot it whenever we could, like grab the actors and
get them off set.
And just put the music on and make them dance. And it was just, and it's a lovely show, but it's tragedy, right? There's a lot of, it's beautiful and happy in some cases, but it's like there's a lot of sad things happening.
Yeah.
And there was just this moments of joy on set when everyone was just dancing, and it was great, really, really great experience. Hard. My God, the hardest show I've ever done. Like, really tough.
Hard but rewarding.
Really hard, rewarding, because it's so ambitious, and 3 different time periods are like,
It's a lot, that's tough.
It's a lot.
I take it you had to do that in 3 blocks. Did you do each period for a separate block, or was it
We shot it.
changes?
Shot it.
constant?
So
Oh my God.
the way it's written, each episode jumps back and forth. So, and we cross-boarded with 3 directors, and we cross-boarded the entire series. So we built this huge backlot outside Toronto, with a fantastic designer called Ruth Amon, who was amazing, and it was like half 30s and half
My God.
40s, and it just
Wow.
changes a
Full
lot because
build? Right, okay.
enormous, and we had these, I was so busy, like I think we did an incredible job, and it is really stunning, but also we had like units shooting in the studio. There was like one point there was like, I think 3 units shooting in the stages.
Wow.
At the same time with different actors, and it's just like
Jeez, also
chaos.
different. Oh my God.
Yeah, and you forget, like, and I think this is increasingly, like, I'm guilty of it, of sort of double banking things just to make the schedule work.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard, I think, on you guys, and
Yeah.
costume and hair
Yeah.
and that, and I was like, it's, and I tried to avoid it, but sometimes it's just, you have to do it. But I think if you do it from the very beginning, right? If you say to the designers and the supervisors, we're going to do this, so think with the team.
Yeah, you need a bigger
like
team.
this. Like, you're going to need a bigger team. So
Yeah.
let's not be scrabbling around trying to find people if you have to carry people for longer and all this of it. Like, I know, like, I genuinely, it's really important to me that, especially like the kind of unit-based team, I think they do sometimes get forgotten. Not forgotten,
Yeah.
but like, I'll be fine. And the fact that, because nobody looks at the call sheet and sees that you guys are coming in at 5:30 in the morning to get these actors ready. And it's really important to me, like, you guys are sort of looked after. Like, not looked after, that's so patronising, but like,
No, I thought it was
but
like,
like,
yeah.
you've got a voice in the, like, in the schedule and all the rest of it. And
But that's good, because we were actually talking about that with Michael last week, where it was about kind of how much hair and makeup and costume, like the more female-based departments, are kind of overlooked at times, or are maybe like not taken as seriously, or we'll be going for checks sometimes. It's like,
I can't bear the hurry up checks.
Yeah.
And all the ADs that I've will choose or try to get directors to choose are the ones that don't do that.
yeah, they're
It's so
respectful of
disrespectful.
everyone's job. Yeah,
It's so disrespectful. And actually, everyone understands what their job is. Everyone knows that it's super wide, and it's so, but also it's like they forget that the checks is sometimes about the actors, but like it's about
Yeah.
giving them a moment.
Because
Yeah.
there are other people who are like, if we're happy, they'll still want, they'll
call
still
for
call
you.
for you being in.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, another thing that is frustrating for us is a lot of the time we'll be told that checks aren't needed because we're not seeing somebody, or
Yeah.
and then cut to like they're right in the middle of the shot, and we're like,
Wearing a pair of sunglasses and
come on.
Yeah.
Or they've still got the rugs on,
Yeah.
that big costume are left in the shit, and you're like,
Yeah.
I thought we weren't seeing them. But
And do you think those things are getting better?
I think so. Yeah, I do think I think when I first started 13 years ago, it was a lot worse. Like I was saying again last week that like people used to roll their eyes when we'd walk onto set as if like, oh, here they come.
Yeah.
And it's just like, when you're starting out in a job to have that, it's like, there's no need.
Yeah, I remember being down at River City whenever I first sort of came out of college, and sort of an old school spark saying something about checks being fluffers, and I didn't even know what that was.
I never knew what fluffer was until she told me, and I was like, fluffer?
I was like, oh my God. So I think it's definitely changed from that. Like, it's not, yeah, I do think it's like more collaborative now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and everyone kind of gives each other a bit more
credit.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So this is the part in the podcast where we do makeup on too. So what is your most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassing moment?
Yeah.
Or like biggest set disaster, some worst story.
The one you would switch to 2 for and tell us
Okay,
in
so
secret.
so this happened after work.
Okay.
So I've only done locations. I briefly did a job as locations, right?
Right, okay.
Oh wow, you've
Do you
done
want
them all.
I know.
That makes a good
I did it
producer.
at Monica the Glen.
Uh-huh.
But I briefly did it on Gregory's Two Girls, which was obviously the follow-up to Gregory's
Okay.
Girl. And I think it was 1998 because I think it was, and anyone who knows me knows how much I'm like the biggest football fan, but not like I know nothing about football.
Was that FIFA?
Yeah.
98?
And myself and Michael Queen, who was another, we were both 30Ds at the time. And we decided to watch every match. And we kept getting phone calls to be dailies on Gregory's Two Girls. And we were both like, he would get the call and he'd be like, and we'd look at what match was on. And then we were like, no. And then I would get the call 2 minutes later. But then after a while, I was like, I need to actually earn some money. And I took a job in the location department. The location manager was Brian Kaczynski. And I think it'd been quite a tough job. We were shooting this night shoot in, I think it was Livingston or something. And he'd been doing the day shift and he was like, I'm going to go up the road. All you have to do is, at the end of the night, and we're filming in this kind of like sort of mechanics lockup type thing, like an arch, one of those archways type things. And he was like, when they're done, all you need to do is you have to shut the big barn doors, go inside, and then take this big plank of wood and put that in like a big castle type door, right? And then come through this door, lock that, do this, switch lights off, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no bother. And they were filming in this little shed thing all night. So I was just like, nothing to do.
Right.
So I just sat around. And then at that point, this is the madness of it used to be an argument to the ADs and locations whose job it was to go and get the tea from the caterers, right? Get the urns. Anyway, so I'm like, I got a wee van, I got to the caterers. And the caterers, who, if you live in Scotland, you know who they are, just enjoyed a smoke, right? And I was never a big smoker. So we're making the tea, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm waiting for them to fill the urns up. And one of the caterers says to me, do you want to, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I went like two drags of this joint, right? And I honestly, I don't smoke a lot, and these guys do. So then I put the tea in the van, drove back up to set. The next thing I know, I'm in my van. It's daylight.
Oh my God, did you get asleep?
It wrapped at like 4 a.m. It was now like 6:30. The world's coming to life. The sun's beating on my face.
Were you back at location? Had you made it?
Location. But what was they'd wrapped. They'd wrapped and just gone home and everyone just like packed all the gear away. And obviously everyone just like, well, somebody's going to lock the door.
Yeah.
And I was just like, back in the van.
So did you go in the back?
So I think it was just in the seat. I can't remember. But like, so obviously when they left, still been dark, right? So everyone was like,
so
whatever. Nobody, like, you know, it's like nobody's actually going, where's the location?
Where's
department
location?
here to lock the van? Like, lock the building up. So I was just like, yeah, that's probably
That's
my worst.
hilarious. Did you get away with it?
Yeah, until now.
Totally.
I just outed myself. Yeah, never told Brian that at all. And
you're gonna have to confess.
Knowing Brian, he'll be like, what? He'll be really angry about it 20 years later, more than 20 years later. Yeah, that was kind of awkward.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yes.
Any other disastrous moments?
I myself most days, but
Everyone says everyone that comes on, it's like
There's
every
a lot.
day.
Yeah, like I try,
We're all just winging it.
but also like slightly seriously, I've decided I quite like being the guy that asks really stupid questions.
Yeah.
I don't mind being the guy, particularly as I've gone up, because I've realised is that we're all learning every job every day, right? And so this job of sales was like huge special VFX and stunt thing, and I find like quite often I thought I knew the answer, and I would just like ask, but why can't we just do this? And sometimes people are like, that's a really good idea. We should do that. Or more often than not, they go, shut up. Like, no, we're doing it this way because.
But it's good to ask because then it's
but
good
it's
to
good.
know.
Like, I don't mind being stupid. But I'm always like, we had a guy who flooded a hotel room in 4 weddings and a funeral, and he was really young. He was like 21 or something. And the first time you go in a hotel and you're getting per diems and you're just like loving life, right? And he got absolutely pissed and then completely flooded his room, right? But it was like this deep. The whole, it was insane.
What had he done? Like?
But he claimed he hadn't done it. He claimed
Somebody's
there'd been a leak or something. And me and Matt Brown, do you know Matt Brown?
I know the name, I do know him. I'm
He
just
lives in
trying
Edinburgh.
to
He's a producer in his own right and now as well. But me and him used to work together a lot. And he came down to London to PM for weddings and a funeral when I was live producing it. And the guy was just like completely like
I didn't
deny
do a thing.
it. But I was saying, see if you just admit it. Like
Aye.
it's like we've all been. I've been too excited and being on set and being like or being given per diems being in a hotel and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Just
What do you think he actually did though? How do you
kind of
think?
fire you if you don't take responsibility.
Just own it.
Eventually, I think his dad was on the crew and his dad took him aside and was like, "Son,
Aye.
And what
What is
happened?
it?
Did he like? Was it like? Did he flood the sink?
I think
Going for a bath, absolutely steaming.
I think the whole. It was like you walked in because the hotel were like, and it was a really lovely hotel. It was a really lovely hotel because we're filming this country house. So there wasn't a lot of choice.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, we put everyone up in this lovely place, and then you walked in, it was like squelch.
my
squelch,
God,
squelch. You were like,
I remember doing Karen Perry, and then it was like during sort of COVID times, the first one of that, and the entire crew were put up for 3 weeks in the Fairmont Hotel.
oh really?
And the base was,
Oh my God,
was in the car park. Holy crap.
Does everyone tell me when you go to Shetland? So when I did Shetland, everyone like the trucks went on the ferry and then everyone else flew, right?
Yeah, that's still
and
what
then
happens.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then one year we shot on the ferry, like
Yeah.
as a location, and it
Yeah.
was brilliant. And so we shot until like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning or something, 2 in the
Yeah.
morning, and then everyone just got pissed.
Aye.
And it was brilliant. And the next year, everyone was like, well, we'll just get the ferry off. It was just like takes
Well,
a
this
day.
year the weather was really bad, so lots of crew got the ferry back this
Oh,
year.
really?
And
Flights were cancelled, weren't they? It was
it
like-
was the fog came in. And
The amount of
flights-
times flights were
Yeah.
cancelled.
I don't
But
like the
that's
Shetland
loads of
flights.
people got it back, and we were getting pictures. We've got like a Shetland group chat where everyone kind of shares pictures, and you've seen the pictures at the end of that
Oh, really?
that ferry. They all looked burst, man. I think
Yes.
there was probably quite a bit of whiskey drinking on that. I know.
Yeah.
The year I did it, I can't remember what year, but they filmed on a ferry, and we went. Was that the same?
So
year?
that was second. So I did 20.
Gosh.
I did season 2 and 3 with Eric was a producer.
Yeah. That was the one I did. So it was
'cause I've
Eric.
got photographs of you dressed as a pilot.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm like
Pirate
that. But that was
party.
the one we filmed in the ferry, 'cause I only did one season, so that one
Yes.
one
I remember you got very excited because there was puffins.
Oh my God.
They're
Do you remember
so
the
cute.
puffins in the lighthouse? I remember on the day the one day off. Mm-hmm. And everyone was
Searching.
like, and going down to see the puffins, and you were already down there looking at the puffins.
So me and Nikki woke up that morning because we were staying in a wee hotel together, and we woke up that morning, poured a glass of wine. We'd only been home for like 2 hours, poured a glass of wine, got poor Doug to come and pick us up in his little 7-seater. Picked up everybody else on the way, cans of Jack Daniels, I think maybe like whenever it was acceptable to drink, like 10 driving down
Post-wine.
to see driving down to see the puffins, and we saw them. I was so happy. It was
They're
like-
so
cute.
gorgeous.
It's whenever they land and it's like they forget that they're flying. They
Yeah.
just kind of bounce down. They're so cute.
My
I seen
partner-
orcas this year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was
Like a
so
pod of
jealous.
orcas.
That was the one thing I was desperate to see that year, and none. I've searched for days.
Did you ever see them in your
No.
tour seasons? No.
No. I quite like that job though.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
real,
lovely.
like it was amazing. For my first series I'm producing, it was a lot of responsibility. I don't know if you know, like, this really sad thing that happened in that was that Ian the Grip passed away in that.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so it's always like I've got mixed feelings about it, because obviously of that, and obviously, and Ian was incredible. I mean, well liked and loved person, and from a professional point of view, it was like I remember being like, this is
that's hard to go through that
thing to go through,
to then have to go back and carry on,
and go back,
isn't it?
and then we stopped filming for like a day, but like I mean, like I think remember how much Ian loved being there. Like I've got great photographs of him just being out in this. Like I met the one time I really worked with Ian a lot previously was on Monarch the Glen, and he just loved that kind of environment, like being outside. So hard.
Yeah, Shetland is a magical place, isn't it? When I've been up there, it is really
tough. But it was a real baptism that job. God, like just get the whole crew up there and back, and
So you invented the crew party at the end.
I did. It all started. This is how it started. Was Zoe Smith? Zoe Smith's the second AD, and we were getting ready to leave, like 2 or 3 days away from travelling up, and I said to Zoe, just put a note on the call sheet, don't forget. I was like, I don't know, just get my head. I was like, just put a note on the call sheet and don't forget your pirate costume.
And that's
how it started. Just the boredom. First job, the boredom is like
we're having a party.
Having a party. And I remember being really thinking, Shetland's tough, right? Because I haven't been there for a few years, but it was like the hotels, there's not the great choice because the oil industry has no good tech and all the rest of it. So it was like, let's give everyone something to look forward to. Anyway, but that's all I wrote. And then we put a note on the next day call sheet, sort of like reminding people, and then got up there and we're like, okay, we'll book that little boat club place and all the rest of it. And I remember again with everybody was a bit like, what's this? And then on the day before, there's boxes arriving from Amazon, and there used to be 2 really good fancy dress shops in
there.
Harry's
is still there.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember, what's his name? The DIT, like full pirate captain outfit. Like there was one person that didn't come dressed up. I remember anyway, and everyone just went for it. It was absolutely brilliant. And I loved Ian the Grigger, who came as a pilot rather than a pirate.
Oh, brilliant! Ian's
and but it was just, I remember the time. It was, I don't think. I just remember we all said whatever time, like the usual, we'll be there at 9, but I think it started at like the doors opened at 8, and Ronnie, who did the cars, got down there at 8. And nobody else arrived till like 9:30. And so there was like 2 or 3 people who like were at the yacht club dressed as a beard and the parrot, the whole lot, who just sat there like furious. Absolutely furious. But then the staff had no idea what was going to hit them. But hit them. And
they didn't know they were having a pint party.
Everyone ended up pulling. I ended up pulling pints because it was like the bar people were just like, we can't keep up. So we're just like,
it's such a small venue.
And I think it's because we were paid for the booze, right? So it wasn't like we're taking money. So it was just like literally serving drinks for like 45 minutes, me and I think Matt Brown and whoever else. Because
we ended up managing to convince Dougie to come, didn't we? Because he was like very much like, nope, not coming. We were like,
there's a great
come at the pirate party, and eventually we wore him down, and he was like,
well, that's Delina still talks about that. Delina, script supervisor, still talks about that being the best Shetland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She still speaks.
That's nice. That was a good job.
So it's still going, the party?
Yeah, so we're now on season 11.
Jesus.
And since season 8, so I started, so we do your original party on the first block whenever we're up there.
Right.
And then in season 8, I started a makeup party. So then we have another dress-up party on the second
Oh, right.
block.
And what's the theme of the makeup party?
The same thing, so we change it every year. So the first one, we done pensioners piss up. So everyone came.
So that's good, because the reason I did pirate, I was like, anyone could be you could dress up a pirate now. All you need to do is like roll up a trouser and and you're there, right? So I was like, nobody's got an excuse apart from that one person.
Yeah.
Misery. And, so yeah, that's good.
So we done Pensioners Piss Up. It was so funny. Like everyone went all out. And all the actors kind of came as well. That year was really good because everyone was really involved. Everyone started doing wild swimming and everything together.
Oh yeah.
And then what was it? I didn't do season 9. But they done what did they do? No, it wasn't disco. Oh, it was aliens, out of this world. So everyone must come as something to do with like space. And then this year we done disco.
Brilliant.
Aye, it was good.
Now we
have the two parties.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
each time,
how many more can you get in Shetland?
I know.
There's only so many places you can go now. Posers is gone.
Yeah.
Oh, disaster.
I loved Posers. That was my favourite.
We've got Trench now. Trench there.
Trench.
The light up dance floor.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Has it got better in other industries? Like it used to be, like the hotels didn't have to even try because they were just booked out all the time.
There's an aspect of it being
sort of industrial.
Yeah. But there's actually really nice. Now we stay in Airbnbs, and there's lovely Airbnbs now.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of upped. I think since Shetland's been running, obviously the tourism is like went out of this world with.
I'm sure it has. Yeah.
So the Airbnbs now are like a lot better than they were back then. Do you have any other embarrassing stories about being on set?
I love when it's chaotic, when it's like something unexpected happens, when the thing that's supposed to have happened hasn't arrived, or the actor's plane's been cancelled or something. I love that stuff.
Kind of a bit of a theme here, Mark.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Like, that's
chaos.
like really like that's why the whole like during COVID, as horrible as it was, and on Valhalla we shot right through COVID, so we were one of the first shows to go, I think, and huge cast, whatever. So we were constantly having to reschedule because of it, and I used to love it. I used to love the kind of chaos of it, and so I have plenty. So I kind of do thrive on that. What I don't thrive on is when I have run someone over. Or we did this show called, we did this Agatha Christie show, which was shot in a stately home, and we were, funnily enough, and we were shooting, and we had these golf buggies, and we shot, and we had them every day, right? We had them for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you had this big long extended one for moving the cast around, and costume and makeup would get on them and stuff. And I had a little 2-seater one. I insisted on getting my own little 2-seater one, like to be like, why does everyone love a golf buggy? Yeah. And so we were like, and we're so used to use them every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. And the wonderful, lovely makeup designer Claire Harris and I were having a chat, and Joe Matthews, do you know Joe?
I love Joe.
Yeah.
Is Joe's a first now? What's Joe? I don't know what Joe is.
Joe is second, yeah.
And so we were just outside, like in the unit base, having a blather. I was in my little golf buggy thing, and I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. Well, I can't remember what we're talking about. And when I hit, it's a bit more complicated, but basically when it had been raining, and when I put my foot down on the accelerator, my foot slipped between the accelerator and the brake, and because it was wet, and it got stuck, and it just took off, and it hit Claire.
Oh my God!
And it pushed Claire. Like, it was awful. It was one of the, like, genuinely awful. Only because Claire, and I think, or maybe she doesn't think of me as a friend, but, like, our friend, like...
Was she in front of it? Did you hit straight on?
And my God. And I was trying to pull my foot out, and I remember Joe, actually, it was really shocking. It was actually really shocking. But we can laugh about it now. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it was horrendous.
Was she stuck between something?
So I actually hit her, and you know the makeup truck, like when they have the tow bars. So she actually went under.
Oh my God!
Oh, really? So it was like an actual.
So like I don't know if this is suitable for podcast or not, because I don't know if Claire thinks with it, but like it was one of those moments where it was a horrendous accident. Mm-hmm. She was fine. She hurt her back, and she's ultimately fine. Mm-hmm. But she very, very nearly couldn't have been.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a millimetre or an inch that could have been that accident could have been something much more serious. And it does. It's an eye opener, and it makes you wise up, right?
Yeah,
like I would never.
Course.
Like I'm much more. Like I wasn't even being irresponsible then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't.
It's just an accident.
But it's just an But I am much more cautious.
Yeah.
And thankfully Claire, I think, forgave me.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah. I phoned her I phoned her a while ago to see if she was available for something, and she I started the conversation with, first of all, can I say something like 8 years ago?
Can we talk about this again, please? I'm sorry.
She was a good.
I can imagine. Do you know what? If there's like one person that's going to forgive you for running them over, it's Claire Harris. I can imagine. She's
poor Joe. I think Joe was and Joe's like, tough she doesn't suffer fools. And I think it's probably pretty shocking. It's kind of when you like, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's going to witness it. It was kind of, when I think about it, it's kind of
scary. Like,
yeah. I haven't told you any stories at all about how I'm like a really keen producer. I
know we
make TV shows. And like bring all these people together. And we make these great shows for all these studios.
We're here for the drama.
Yeah. It's like, feel like, who's this?
Nah, you've told us good stories too.
So yeah.
We've got a few questions that people have texted in asking us to ask you. How do you select directors and crew? How do you go about that?
It's kind of tricky, the director one. So in most television, normally there's a showrunner and myself, and they will create a short list. But quite often the studio of a short list, the production company of a short list, if there's a directing producer, quite often they'll have people they worked with before. So quite often it's about where those shortlists cross, right? And but then it's very much about watching the material, or the showrunner more often than not watching the material, and then meeting them and talking about their version, how they interpret the show. And also, I think one thing I always try and do with the showrunners is remind them that everyone who's putting forward a director, they've got their own agenda. Sounds sort of suspect, but it might be because they make that, like, an AD might go, he's great or she's great because they make their days, and someone else might like, whatever reason. So you kind of got to, like, so it's particularly if it's an inexperienced showrunner, but giving them the kind of helping them make that creative choice. But normally it comes from, we'll create a list, we'll bring a list down to a short list, and then
I guess maybe do interviews still, even if you've worked with them, and
it's interviews, and directors normally come in with their own mood boards and or decks, whatever, and
and who's suited best for that job as well.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
We've got a wee quick fire round, so just a list of questions. Just the first thing comes to your mind, don't think too much about it.
Okay.
A big moment. Okay, binge watch or weekly release?
Binge. It's only quick fire, isn't it? So I'll be quick.
Rainy day on location or roasting day in studio?
Rainy day. Love being zipped up in Gore-Tex. That sounds weird. but I love that feeling of being like...
Yeah. If you've got the right gear on, you're always all right, aren't you?
Yeah, and also I can go and...
you can take cover whenever you like. You're not stuck in
plenty of time of being out.
Coffee truck or ice cream truck?
The best truck... Coffee. Coffee.
Coffee and cake, I would say. I should put coffee and cake in.
What is the best truck that you were about to say? What?
We did Catty Rolls once.
Right.
I do a lot of trucks. Look at me like now going, I might be an idiot now, but I do trucks.
Yeah.
And crew gifts and trucks are the most, and things like that.
Yeah.
Don't do them by halves. You
love that.
Go all out.
Yeah, wrap parties.
We do
did a roller coaster one.
Did you?
Not a roller coaster. What do you call that thing that goes?
A roller coaster?
A roller coaster?
Yeah. Yeah. Waltzers.
We actually don't.
We had waltzers, and we had the old Victorian thing that goes round, and I can't remember. But we basically had a fun film.
Brilliant. That's a good one.
That's a good one. HOD meals or wrap party?
Honestly, HOD meal, and there is a reason, but I think
Sparks or grips?
Grips.
Camera or costume?
Costume. I feel I'm a unit-based person.
Makeup or locations?
Makeup.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out.
That was it was delightful.
Thank you for coming.
Not as bad as you thought it was going to be.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you for telling us all your disasters.
So bad.
Thanks for coming out with us. That is a wrap.
Fabulous.
Thanks for coming, Mark.
It's been delightful. Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for listening.
Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to sign up for a little Patreon, that would be amazing.
Bye.
Bye.